It's been well over a year since we tested your Grandpa Earl's method against other common types of wood preservation. If you watched the first video, then you know what's at stake here. And if you didn't, well, here's what you missed. We took 6 preservation methods, soaked, charred, and sealed 6 pieces of pine, put them in the ground, and we walked away. But today we're gonna find out which method won. But here's the thing. This video isn't just a reveal. We're also introducing and testing 4 brand new formulas here today, and some of them are quite controversial. These are some of the methods that you people have been asking about in the comment section since we first published that video a year ago. So stick around and find out if your favorite is gonna be in this video here today. But before we mix a single drop of any of these new formulas, we need to go dig up what has been sitting in the ground for the last 365 days. It's time to wake up your Grandpa Earl. Let's go. I just realized it's been a year since we've done this, so we're gonna have to get the weed trimmer and clear up some grass before we can actually look at those samples. We have the samples buried right around here. We'll quickly chim this down and we'll check it out. I'm gonna rake this out real quick. We'll look at them samples. All right, here we are at the plot here. I just weed whacked everything and I see the boards right there. I'm gonna pull them up one by one and give you a brief verdict of what I think. And then I'll have a final verdict at the end of the video. Is our control. Well, for some reason, these samples were all switched up. Good thing I labeled them though. The first one from the left to right is the Olympia Guard wood sealer. It's a clear water repellent, the kind of thing you'd find at any big box store, mainly for decking and, you know, above ground stuff. Definitely not for below ground. It's designed to basically be a raincoat for wood to shed moisture and keep it dry. Seems like it has a little bit of fungus growing on the side and the face significantly. I'm a little concerned about this. The next one is copper naphthenate or copper coat. This stuff is different. Let me tell you, this is a serious industrial grade chemical. It's the stuff professionals use on ground contact. When they cut the ends out the pressure treated lumber, they treat the end grain with this copper naphthenate solution just to keep it sealed all around. But it might be good for stuff like this. This copper coat, I don't see any fungus happening on the surface. Maybe a little bit here. I think this did okay. Now here's our control. Obviously there's fungus growing all over the face. The face is a little squishy too. There's fungus on the face all over. And on the side here, I can confidently say that this is probably gonna be fully rotted through by this time next year. Next up is the Yakisugi method without oil. It's a charring process that the Japanese use. The Yakisugi means burnt cedar. This isn't cedar. No oil, no sealer, nothing on top, just raw charred wood put into the ground. Should answer a lot of questions people had in the comments. Does charring it alone help, or do you have to add something on top? So this is doing well. You can see a little bit of fungus on the side. It feels a little more squishy. You know, there's moisture getting in. You can see fungus growing there too as well. Next up is the Yakisugi with boiled linseed oil. This is kind of like Grandpa's method. You know, it's the same sample as before. Took a torch and we burnt it, but we didn't stop there. We had boiled linseed oil. This bad boy's looking like it's doing pretty good. We got some fungus happening here on the side and a little bit here, but for the most part, it looks like it's pretty solid and holding up. Last but not least, Eco Wood. This one was the premium option. Cost a lot of money. It was a powder to liquid treatment, bio-based, low chemical smell, marketed as a responsible, earth-friendly preservative. It wasn't cheap. We had to soak it for a couple days before we could put it in the soil. A little bit of fungus happening here and along the side, but it looks like overall pretty good. I'm actually quite surprised. These are good and all, but I'm not gonna give you my final verdict yet. But before I do that, just like I promised earlier, we're gonna mix up 4 new formulas, and also we're gonna change something about those 4 new samples that is gonna make this test much more prone to rot. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Before we get into these formulas, I just want to give you a quick note. Every product that we have used in the past and what we're using here today is going to be linked right here if you're watching on your cell phone. If you're watching on your television, then you can scan the QR codes right here. And if all else fails, we'll link all the products in the old dust collector below. And remember, even though we're not sponsored by these products, we still earn a small commission off of every purchase that you make using one of our links. Keep in mind, this happens at no extra cost to you. So thank you in advance for helping us out. Now check this out, I got something for you. We're gonna be testing 4 new products and we're gonna use different wood this time. Basswood. Now basswood rots super easily, a lot faster than that pine outside will. And if these formulas can protect basswood, they can protect pine, aspen, oak, or really any other wood that you want to put on or near the ground. Let's start with the one I doubt the most. Borax and antifreeze. It's actually a formula that some of you guys in the comments section suggested. Borax is a known mineral that's toxic to fungus and insects. I paid about $6 for this box, and you probably have it in your laundry room. This is the active ingredient, and this alone, if we added to water and applied it to the wood, it would just wash off right away after the first rain. So we're gonna need a carrier to help soak this into the wood fibers. Now, most versions of this formula call for regular antifreeze, but that seems a little more toxic to me, especially if you got pets or children running around in this situation. You don't wanna use that. This stuff right here is actually technically considered food grade, but I don't know if I want to believe that. I don't know if I want my food touching this. This was $3.99 at the time of filming, so this is like a $10 trick here. It uses propylene glycol instead of ethanol. The propylene glycol wicks deep into the wood fibers and pulls the borax along with it. The antifreeze is the postal worker that makes sure that the package gets there extremely late. That makes sure the package gets delivered. And I have no clue what to mix. So I'm gonna just guess here, you know, add some of this here, decent amount in there. All right, we're gonna add this to every square inch of this bad boy, and then we're gonna find out what happens. This is probably 1 borax, 2 antifreeze solution I'm doing here. I don't know how much, there's a lot of borax in here. Now that we thoroughly coated it, I'm gonna set this over off the side to dry for a little while, and then I'm gonna apply a second coat just in case. This next formula is from Scandinavia, the Viking formula. Some people call it boat soup. This mixture has been painted onto wooden Viking ships and brushed onto the timbers of Scandinavian stave churches that have still been standing for centuries. The formula is pretty simple. 1 part pine tar, 1 part boiled linseed oil, and 1 part turpentine, but I couldn't find turpentine, so we got low odor mineral spirits. Pine tar was made as a horse treat. You're gonna wanna heat this up a little bit first. The mineral spirits is the carrier that does the deep penetrating, and boiled linseed oil is the curing binder. It hardens as it oxidizes and locks the wood formula into the fibers. The pine tar fills the gaps and creates a waterproof barrier. A flexible waterproof barrier, that's important. The pine tar was $21.99 per quart, which is kind of expensive. $10 per quart of boiled linseed oil, which we already had laying around. And the mineral spirits was $7.48, and we also had this one laying around. That's like $40 for 3 quarts of product. You might as well buy a wood preservative at that price. I don't know. All right, just a little bit, not too much. Whoo! Oh man, that stinks. That is stinky. Should do her 1 to 1 to 1. Mix it in. All right, we got her all mixed up and thoroughly spilled on the table here. Pretty mixed in. I mixed in a lot better than I thought it was gonna do. It stinks. The next one was suggested by another commenter, and I think it'll hold a candle to this last one. All right, here's the brute force option. Foundation sealer is the thick black rubberized asphalt coating that contractors spray on the concrete basement walls to waterproof them. And I'm pretty sure it's the same active ingredient they use in the Post Saver post wraps that you see on Amazon. It's messy, it goes on thick, it's not pretty, but I bet it works. I'm not looking forward to this. Oh yeah. Well, have at her. Unless this stuff breaks down quick, I don't see this losing at all. All right, we're gonna set it over there and let it dry with the rest of them. Now, we're gonna get to the one that your Grandpa Earl would be proud of. This is his secret formula. It's some sort of used oil, if you know what I mean. But this oil's thick. If it sits on the surface, it's not gonna penetrate into the wood. So we're gonna need a carrier. You add 50% diesel and 50% oil. 1 to 1. This thins down the mixture significantly. And that thinner mixture can now wick into that wood grain deep. By the time the diesel evaporates, the oil compounds are locked inside the wood. But full disclaimer, don't do this. It's extremely dangerous. And then I wanna make sure to get this solution in these cracks here. That's already cracking, just in case. Set this bad boy down, we'll let it dry overnight, and then we'll go put them up with the rest of the samples. And check them all out. They are dried for the most part, and they are ready. All right, let's go. Let's head out there. All right, we got our 4 samples here. We're looking at pine tar. We got Grandpa's secret sauce here, borax. This stuff here. We'll get to tell, I have a few things about this stuff that I want to tell you about. You'll notice that I have the foundation sealer wrapped in paper towel. You know why that is? Because this thing refused to dry, and for good reason. It's an oil-based solution I have high hopes for. I think it's going to work the best. It's not fully dry. I don't know if it'll ever fully dry, which is a good thing because this preservative will move with the wood. So if it's cracking open, you know, hopefully that asphalt will get into the cracks and, you know, just hope to keep it completely, almost hermetically sealed, really. I'm going to set them down here and then I'm going to give you my final verdict on the other samples that we've been testing this past year. So we're going to put this bad boy in the ground here, put it with the other 6 samples. And we're not done with the 6 samples either. Year 2 starts today for these. The question isn't just which formula survived the first year. The question is which of all of these formulas is going to be standing after year 2, 3, 4, and beyond. Some of the treatments may have hit a wall. Some of them might still be going strong years from now. We won't know until we pull them up again. But I'm going to give you my final verdict on the ones that we've tested so far. Based on everything that we dug up today, 1 full year with Minnesota ground contact and everything, real freeze-thaw cycles, here's where things stand. The wood sealer did surprisingly okay. Not too disappointed with it. Copper coat did as expected, but they both have a little bit of mold on them, which is kind of concerning. The control did the worst, of course. These two did better than expected, but Sugi that does not have oil on it seems like it might be starting to break down a little bit faster than the one that has the oil on it. And Eco Wood's doing a lot better than I expected, for sure. I thought this one had no chance, but the downside is the prep time is much longer than any of the other ones that we had to test out. So keep that in mind, and it's more expensive too. Copper coat is quite expensive as well, but it looks like they all are kind of holding up right now as we speak. If I had to pick one that's working the best now, I would say the Sugi with the oil base is the one that's holding up better than anything else right now. It's the one that I noticed that did not have as much fungal growth growing on it. We're gonna slap these bad boys right down there next to these other ones and come back in about a year and check on them and see how they're all doing. I am willing to bet here now that any one of these that do break down are gonna break down faster than the pine samples, no matter what it is, because Basswood just breaks down so fast. All right, so for good measure, we're gonna sound it off. We got the foundation sealer, Borax and Antifreeze solution. We got Grandpa's favorite sauce, pine tar, wood sealer, copper coat. There's our control. There's Sugi alone, Sugi with oil, and then Eco Wood on the end down there. We're gonna come back in about a year, around June 1st, 2027, and let you know what the heck is going on with these samples. But listen to this. Everything that we put in the ground, all these chemicals and formulas, they protect the utility woods that we need to operate daily. But what about the wood that we use for our fancy pants outdoor projects? The picnic benches, the Adirondack chairs, the deck rails, the exterior trim. Well, in case you didn't know, we ran a test on big box store finishes on that bench back there. And one of the finishes that you probably would never pick held up better on this bench than any of the other finishes that we tested. And one of them failed our test faster than we expected. We show you which of those finishes did the best and the worst in this video right here. We'll see you there, brother. You know the routine. And sister. I said it, I said it. I said it. All right, shut her down, shut her down. Go to that next video. We'll see you there. We'll see you there. See you there.